Hey, what's up? Kevlin here, and today I'm going to be listing off every single Fire Emblem character that's ever existed. Okay, no, not really. I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of a different video today for my friend's birthday, and Seizo is going to join me. So, my friend and my roommate and the person besides my family that I have known the longest, it is her birthday this week, so happy birthday if you're watching. Um, She and I have been taking care of many snakes together, and I'm just gonna talk a little bit about that. So, we have, well, not just snakes actually. We have 14 snakes, 3 bearded dragons, and a tortoise. I'm not gonna, unfortunately, I can't take them all out because they just ate and or they are shedding, and this little booger was the only one that was out, so he gets to join me. I will show pictures, though. I do have plenty of pictures. We have Elise, the albino ball python. I used to work at a pet store, and before I left, I was all like, I should use my employee discount to get a snake. So I took a picture of the python cage and had my roommate pick, I was just like, pick one. So she was like, that one. So I got the little girl, boxed her up, and brought her home. And I left her in a little box for my friend, so when she got off work, she came home and saw this little face. We ended up obviously naming her Elise after the Fire Emblem Fates character. Then we got Kagero. She is, I think, we were told she was a sugar candy corn snake, but I think she's a creamsicle. Anyways, we got her with one other snake online from a friend of a friend. Unfortunately, the other one, Ryoma, is no longer with us, but Kagero is with us. Kagero is a demon. She bites everything, she will strike at the glass, and she eats the shirts. And then we got Izana. He is an albino common king snake, and he has cataracts. I got him from a friend of a friend, and they were originally going to release him into the wild or drop him off at a pet store if he couldn't take care of him. But we're like, we'll take him. Please do not release him into the wild. He is a bright white snake. He will not survive very long. So we picked him up, but we were originally told that it was a girl named Buttercup. Thought Buttercup looked a little weird, so when we had Buttercup checked, found out it was a male. So we named him Izana because, Izana from Fates is a duke and kind of like a king, like King Snake. So that's where that came from. And we also found out that Izana had cataracts. So this snake is older than I am, probably. And I love him to pieces. He also wags his tail like a dog. And he likes to follow you around when you're on bed. No matter which way you lie, he will come to you. Then next on our list, I have Mist. Mist was a sporadic Craigslist find. I was actually looking for cages, and then I stumbled upon the little ad that was like snake, and I was like, oh, it looks like Petunia, and it turns out she had a little heart on her head, and the seller was only like 2 blocks from where I was. So after consulting with my roommate, we got Mist, little heart on her head. She was so small when we first got her. She could only eat mouse tails. She couldn't even eat baby mice. So she started off on mouse tails, and she started getting really comfortable with us, and she started getting bigger, and now she's eating, I guess, if any of you know your reptile terminology, she's eating large fuzzies or small hoppers. And she's the sweetest little thing in the world. Always coming out to greet us when we come home from work. Always out and curious what we're making for dinner. I love her. Then, of course, we have Petunia. You guys are probably familiar with her if you've kept up on any of the videos that I've posted. Petunia is the one that I've had the longest. I got her back probably in elementary school. So she's getting up there in age, unfortunately. But she was one of my first snakes, and I absolutely love her. She is so calm, and she's sweet. She's never bitten anyone on purpose. I remember one time I fell asleep with her in my hands when I was a kid, and I woke up, she was gone, and of course, I think I was like 8, so 8-year-old me was in a panic, but she was smart enough to have put herself back in her own cage, and she would put herself to bed. So I was very lucky that she did that. The next one that we've had, I think almost the longest, is Gray Mask. He is a gray-banded king snake. My dad actually got him for me. We had just lost another snake very similar to him. And my dad was like, here's another one. So my dad impulsively bought Gray Mask. And then we ended up had another snake. Usually the gray-banded king snake species does not eat very much. They're very picky eaters, but Gray Mask is the opposite. He will eat anything that fits in his little mouth. That could be mice, that could be eggs, paper. He doesn't bite on purpose. He has hardly ever bitten anybody, though he did bite both of my friends once on the same day back to back. Okay, now we have Olwen. Olwen is a chocolate Enchi python, we think. We got her through a mutual friend's friend. So, like those posts online, like, oh, name one more thing you would want more of. And I kind of jokingly put snakes. And then someone commented, like, I have 2 snakes. Do you want them? So, yeah, I'll take them. So we ended up getting 2 snakes, and we were told they were both girls, and that they were both very underweight when we got them. So we got them checked out, we got them cleaned up, and that's when we found out that one of them was a boy. So, and their names were Rachel and Raquel. That had to change. So then we had Reinhardt and Olwen. Unfortunately, Reinhardt is no longer with us. He was an amazing snake, very, very smart. So the character name definitely matched. No, Olwen did not kill him. Olwen loved him dearly and started getting super salty after he passed. Olwen is also infamous for biting the mutual friend and hanging on for 2 hours. So Olwen is I wouldn't call her aggressive or mean. She's just territorial and she loves food. So combining those 2 things together, she'll probably try to take a munch out of you. Now we have Odin. Odin was our first or second ball python we got. He's just a regular old normal, but we love him. He was and is one of our sweetest snakes ever. Always loves seeing people, always out to greet us. Right now he's going through shed, otherwise I'd take him out. But yeah, he's a good boy. The thing he's most famous for is ankle cuffing people. So if you let him slither around on you, he'll handcuff your ankles together like this, so you have to waddle around like a penguin. Because when he holds on, he holds on. He loves hugs, and he will not let go. Okay, what else? Okay, now we have Henry. Henry is a western hognose snake. We got him at a reptile show, and we had recently lost another hognose snake, our first one, Leo. So we were looking for a new hognose snake, maybe a little bit older, a proven eater, just something a little different. So we found this hognose snake that was being sold for $100 in our area. That's a pretty good deal for a western hognose snake. So we scooped him up, and right after we paid, they handed him over and said, he has a bit of an attitude. Okay, not a problem. We don't mind snakes with a little bit of personality. Don't really mind getting bit. He bites, he hisses. You set a cup down next to his cage and he'll strike at the glass. You sit down on the bed halfway across the room and he'll hiss. My friend's knees snapped once when she bent down to pick up something and he struck at the glass. I think we were down back at the pet store where he had originated from, and I was just kind of asking one of the people there, like, hey, do you remember the hognose snake that likes to play with its food? And everyone was all, yeah, we know that one. So apparently he was infamous for biting customers. If any of you are familiar with reptiles, hognose snakes tend to try to avoid biting. They usually bluff, strike, hiss around, play dead. Henry was known for biting people, and he had gone through a home or 2 before with looking all cute and then being brought back for being a biter. So we don't really mind that. So Henry stuck with us forever. We just found that funny that Henry thought that ploy would keep working and he'd be going household to household. Even funnier, though, we found out recently through another YouTube channel that Henry is a girl. And we got Henry checked, and Henry is a girl, so fun. Now we have a snake named Henry that's a girl. Now we have Yune. She is a toffee belly hognose snake. We got her originally to mate her to Henry, but then we found out that Henry's a girl. Henry's a girl, and Yune's a girl. So now we have 2 females. Yune she passed 2 years a while ago, but she hit her terrible twos and never grew out of them. She doesn't like it when you give her water. She doesn't like being touched. So we're trying to work her out of that, but kind of difficult. But she's a beautiful snake, and when she sleeps, her eyes get a little bit what's it called? Unsynchronized. So instead of facing forward like this, one pupil will go like this, and the other one will go like this. So they look like they're crossing their eyes when they sleep. It's absolutely hilarious. She also eats everything, so that's good. Hognose snakes are another notoriously picky eating species, so I'm glad that we have two that eat everything. Now we have Salt. Salt is a snow sand boa, I believe. We used to have Pepper, who is a paradox. Salt lives in a giant cage, a little mansion for her, and we don't see her because, sand boa, she likes to bury. So she resides in my friend's room. Whenever we see Salt, we get super excited. It's like a Bigfoot sighting. No one will believe you that you saw her unless you either see it in person or get pictures. A lot of people, when they come over, they wonder why we have a box of dirt with a water bowl in it, and we just have to tell them that there is a snake in there. The funny thing is, though, since Salt doesn't emerge that much, if my roommate took Salt out for some reason, I'd be none the wiser for about a week or two and still keep watering it and still believe that Salt was in there. That is how rare we see this snake. Next one is Seizo, this little guy right here. He is a Miami phase corn snake. We got him as a 2-for-1 about a year ago, actually, for a Valentine's Day sale. Buy one, get one half off. So we got this lovely little guy. We weren't sure what we were looking for when we walked in there, but we got this one, and we got another one. We had to look up their patterns because they're both really shy. Seizo here. He does not like bigger snakes, so every time he sees like a ball python or something, he'll rattle his tail and get all hissy. He thinks he's big and tough, but he's really a big sweetie, like the character. Then the next one we got was a Sugi. He is a tessera corn snake. Beautiful snake. His scoots look like lasagna, but he is a zip zoomer. He's always everywhere. He always loves tunneling, and he has a bunch of like paper towel tubes in his cage. So he loves playing around in those, and he's always just hanging out and staring us down when we go into the kitchen. So we got Seizo and a Sugi that same day. And then we recently, not recently, but around my birthday last year, we got a snake from my coworker who unfortunately was not able to take care of him. I think we believe he's a calico ball python, and we called him Spaghetti Boy. We were originally going to call him Dedu to fit the Fire Emblem theme, but because of the smell, we called him Spaghetti Boy. It's not a bad smell, but he smells a little bit like, when you're boiling spaghetti or freshly strained it. He smells like cooked pasta. I've asked around about it. No one really knows about why. So, Spaghetti Boy smelled strongly of spaghetti, and then our apartment started to smell like spaghetti. But when we moved him into a new cage, he stopped smelling like spaghetti. Now his cage just smells strongly like spaghetti. Then we have our Russian tortoise, Gwen. She was the only compromised reptile that I was able to get when I moved into my stepmom's house. This tortoise, I love her to death. She's such a picky eater. Most Russian tortoises are known to eat almost anything. She doesn't like food. I'm worried that I'm neglecting her and abusing her by not feeding her. But I offer her food, and she'll go through phases. She'll be like, collard greens, and she'll eat nothing but collard greens. And then I'll be like, okay, cool. And then I go to Costco and buy like a big thing of collard greens, and she's like, I don't want these anymore. So then I'm stuck with a giant Costco bin full of collard greens and rinse and repeat with every imaginable food that a tortoise can consume. And then we have our bearded dragons. We have Nugget, just a regular old one. My friend used to room with a family who had a bearded dragon as a class pet, and they brought him home and gave him to my friend, who is always known as the local reptile enthusiast. Nugget was a little baby, but now Nugget is big and old and crabby. We love our crabby old man. That was the start of the bearded dragon craze. And then we got Tobasco. We got Tobasco maybe a little less than a year ago, and summer will have been a year. The bearded dragons have a food theme, so we were going to call him Tabasco. But then we realized that Tabasco liked to chew his own toes off, so we called him Tobasco. So Tobasco might not have all of his fingers, but he definitely has all of our love. And then the newest addition to our family is Vanilla Bean. Vanilla is a hypotranslucent, no, a zero, I think. Beautiful little boy. Still not too comfortable with us. Gotten a lot more comfortable again with my friend who's takes care of them the most often. Loves to run and loves to walk off the side of things. And then when he falls, he looks slightly embarrassed. But he's gotten a lot better, and he's going to get a nice fancy cage that is house themed. All of the bearded dragons have a themed cage, so Nugget is kind of like the basic like deserty setup, and then Toe has a jungle setup, and then my friend is personally designing Vanilla's cage to look like a house, so he'll have like a backyard and a kitchen and like a second floor. It'll be really cool. So there's that. So I just want to thank you for listening, and thank my friend for just being there for me. I've known her since preschool and taking care of the pets when I wasn't unable to, and putting up with my banter and getting more of these little guys. We do hopefully plan on getting more soon, because if any of you know, we unfortunately did lose Aries, our Mojave ball python, for unknown reasons. She's come so far in these past few years, and she's trying really hard, and right now, she's working really hard as well. She's working to become a vet tech, so she's working right now with the avians and exotics and gets to learn and see all sorts of crazy animals and stuff like that. So that's really cool, especially since we got these cuties to take care of. She's also just really funny, and she's really honest as well, so having her around is always good. I don't know what's in store next for us, but yeah, it's going to be interesting, so we'll see where we go from there. And I just want to thank her again for putting up with me. I know I'm not the easiest person to get along with, and where are you going? Also, our snakes are always a handful, but we love them. So thank you again, and happy birthday.